Okay, how's it going, everybody? This is for volume of pyramids and cones. Hopefully you went ahead and watched the video that showed the model between a rectangular prism and a pyramid, and you saw that it took 3 pyramids to fill up 1 prism. Okay, and also the same thing with a cone and a cylinder. It took 3 cones to fill up a cylinder. So because it took 3 of them to fill up a cylinder, and remember the volume for a cylinder and even for a prism was the area of the base times the height. Well, since it took 3 of these guys to equal that volume, we had to divide by 3. So that's where the formula is coming from. So hopefully by watching those videos, that helped explain this, and that's what it's taking. It takes 3 pyramids to fill up a cube with the same dimensions. It takes 3 cones to fill up a cylinder with the same base. So that's where that formula is coming from. Also, just making sure that we understand the difference between a pyramid and a prism. Okay, our pyramid has 1 base, whereas a prism had 2. And in a pyramid, the sides, the faces, come together at one point called your vertex, sometimes also called an apex. All right. Notice all the sides are triangles, whereas in a prism, we had all the sides were rectangles. So that's a big clue. If we see more than 2 triangles, that means that we're dealing with a pyramid. Okay. Whereas if it was just 2 triangles, that might be like a triangular prism. So you want to look for the faces. How many triangles are there versus how many rectangles are there? And that will help you differentiate between pyramid and prism. And then, oh, this should say cone here. Didn't catch that. Hopefully on yours I fixed it. Okay, but this should say cone, not cylinder. Okay, so we have a cone, and that has the circular base, and only 1 circular base, whereas a cylinder had 2 circular bases. And again, it comes to a vertex. Okay? All right, so let's go ahead, and we're going to do the same thing that we did with prisms and cylinders. We're going to go through and name it, identify the parts, work the formula to get to our answer. All right? I'm going to take you through the first 3, and then you're going to do examples D, E, and F on your own. I've got my highlighters here to just color code. I also have my formula sheet with me and my calculator. Okay, so taking a look at the first shape, remember that for both prisms and pyramids, we name them by the shape of their base. So we can see this is a pyramid because we got triangles all around, comes to a point. So we'll take a look at the base, and we're going to go ahead, and I highlighted it in green in the other video. We'll do the same thing here. Okay. 6 and 10, those aren't the same, so that means it's a rectangle. So this is a rectangular pyramid. Okay? If you said rectangle pyramid, I'm fine with that. They just add fancy endings sometimes. So the shape of my base is a rectangle. Okay? And the height, this means, again, remember this is the height of your 3D shape. So looking for that 90-degree angle. Again, your height for any 3D shape, especially for your pyramids and cones, is going to be from the vertex to the center. Again, it's very important to understand that. It's from the vertex to the center of your base, okay? Not like if we had it going along the side of this triangle right here, that would be the height of that face, not the height of the pyramid. So just watch out for that. We can sometimes do tricky questions like that. So my height is 6 miles. This is a huge pyramid, apparently. Okay? All right, so let me go ahead and start with my formula. We have area of base times height, and I'm going to write it like this instead of keeping it in fraction form. I just like to write it out that way. Okay? So again, remember, the big B stands for the area of my base. So my base is a rectangle. So I just draw a little symbol so I know I'm finding the area of a rectangle. All right, well, let's take a look at my rectangle. It's 6 by 10, okay? So 6 times 10, and that's 60, okay? So now I can replace that big B. I don't know the volume. I can replace the big B with 60. All right, the height of, again, this h is referring to the height of the pyramid. The height of the pyramid was 6, and then don't forget about the divide by 3. Now, order of operations, multiply or divide from left to right. Really doesn't matter since it's just multiplying or dividing. You can actually go in any order, but we'll just do that. 60 times 6 is 360. We have to divide by 3. So volume equals 120. All right, let's repeat our answer using the correct units. 120. My units were miles. And remember, volume is cubed. Okay. Go on to example B. Okay, we have a circular base and we have a vertex, so that means that this is a cone. Okay, my base is a circle. All right, let me go ahead and outline that. And remember, with circles, we need to look for, have we been given the radius or the diameter? And then the height, we can see there's the center. And look at that 90-degree angle goes, sorry, that's the vertex. It goes to the center of my base. I see that 90-degree angle there. So that means that my height is 8 inches. Right? Start with my formula. Area of base, big B, times h. Don't forget to divide it by 3. All right, so again, the big B, area of my base, I'm finding the base is a circle, so that's pi r squared. Again, if you need to, go to your formula sheet. We got circle equals pi r squared. We're going to use 3.14 for pi, 3.14. Now, r stands for radius, right? Radius is from the center of the circle to the edge. So let's take a look at our diagram, and let's see what we've been given. We've been from the center to the edge is 4, so they gave us the radius. So 4 squared. Now be careful, if it was all the way across, you'd have to divide it in half to get the radius. Okay, so that must mean, in this case, we could write the diameter is 8, the radius is 4. All right, just to kind of collect some information. All right, let me finish up my math. Remember, exponents come first, order of operations. 4 squared is 16. Okay, now I can go ahead and put that in my calculator, and I get 50.24, 50 and 24 hundredths. All right, so that's my big B. So volume equals 50.24. The height of my cone is 8, and I'm going to divide by 3. So I'm going to perform order of operations. I'm going to work left to right. So 50.24 times 8 is 401 and 92 hundredths, but I haven't divided by 3 yet. Now I'm going to go ahead and divide by 3. I get 133.97, and then my calculator, I've got my 3 is repeating like crazy. Okay, now for these, depending on the situation and what the instructions say, remember, I always like accuracy. You could actually leave this, since the repeating decimals in the thousands, and we can see that, you could leave it like that. However, if you're not sure, always, the best case, more accuracy, the further out you go. So I always like the hundredths. So this is the hundredth position right here. Okay, so that means that you have to look to the right. Is the 3 big enough to push the 7 up? No, it's not. So 133.97. And then my units were inches cubed. Okay? All right. And for our final example here, let's take a look. We see that we've got lots of triangles all around. So we're dealing with a pyramid. I know that. We're trying to find the base. Well, the way to find the base is to look for the tippy top point, and it's going to point to it. So I can see here is my base. It's a triangle. So it's a triangular pyramid. Okay, because my base was a triangle. My height goes from the center to the vertex. So my height is 10 kilometers. Again, we're dealing with a huge pyramid here. Okay. All right, so now let's start with our formula. Volume equals the area of the base times height. Don't forget, divide by 3. Okay, so the area of my base. Well, my base is a triangle. And again, if I look at my formula card, the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height. 1/2 base times height. But remember, this base and height, that's the base and height of the triangle. So I need to look for a 90-degree angle in my base. So if we zoom in, and I can't really do that on here, if you zoom in, look, there's a little tiny, it's not this one, because this one's that with the pink line. That's the height of our pyramid. But here we see there's a 90-degree angle. It's formed by this line and by this line. So these two lines make that 90-degree angle. So that means those two numbers, those two side lengths, are my base and my height of the triangle. So I'm going to do 1/2 base, 6, doesn't matter which is which because I'm multiplying them, and then the height is right here, is 8. Okay? 1/2, well, 6 times 8 is 48. Half of 48 is 24. So that's the area of my triangle. So I can replace that big B with the 24 now. The height of my pyramid was this one right here, which is 10. And then I have to divide by 3. Follow my order of operations. 24 times 10 is 240. Divide by 3. All right, 240 divided by 3. Well, 24 divided by 3 is 8. Add a 0 onto there is 80. All right, let's restate our answer with the correct units. 80. My units are kilometers, and it's a 3D shape, so it's to the 3rd power for the units. Again, remember, do not put the exponent on the number, because that means that you're taking that number and multiplying it by itself 3 times. We're multiplying the units by itself 3 times. Okay, so your task now is to go ahead and go onto the back, all right, and do D, E, and F. Don't forget to name it. Identify the base and the height. Follow your formula. Your work should look very close to mine. And then final answer should be down here in the box with the correct units. Okay? All right, we'll check over your work in class together.